Not everyone who buys property abroad wants citizenship. For many people, it's not about changing their life overnight, not about holding a powerful passport, and not about proving that they've escaped from somewhere. In an increasingly unstable world, where the rules change faster than life plans, where borders can close overnight, and where a political decision made somewhere far away can directly affect your family. Many people buy property abroad not to leave immediately, but simply to have another option. Not to move tomorrow, but to know that if the moment comes, they are not trapped. This video is not about the 5 best countries. There are no rankings, no promises that one place will make you richer, safer, or happier with a single signature. Because the truth is, every country is just a path, and no single path fits everyone. There are paths for those who need speed, paths for those willing to move slowly, paths for families seeking stability, and paths for people who simply want to sleep a little more peacefully at night. The 5 countries in this video do not represent success. They represent 5 different ways of choosing how to live, 5 different responses to a world that keeps changing. And the most important question has never been whether you have enough money, but rather what are you trying to protect in your life. 5. Dominica. Fast citizenship. Slow living. Dominica is not a country that appears frequently on global investment maps. It is not a financial hub. It is not a destination for luxury tourism. And precisely because of that, Dominica attracts people who are looking for simplicity. The pathway here is very clear: purchase approved real estate with a minimum investment of around $200,000 and in return receive direct citizenship. There is no requirement for long-term residence, no language tests, no need to prove lifestyle integration. Processing times are measured in months, not years. And for those who become tax residents, there are no worldwide asset taxes, no inheritance tax, and no capital gains tax. Everything is designed to be straightforward and to get straight to the point. But if you stop at numbers and requirements, you miss the most important thing Dominica actually offers. A Canadian family once sold their second home in Toronto. They did not move to Dominica. They did not start a business. They did not change their existing lifestyle. They visit Dominica only twice a year, staying a few weeks at a time. They didn't buy a beach. They didn't buy a resort. What they bought was the feeling of not being trapped. In a world where circumstances can change quickly, they know there is another door already open, even if they may never have to walk through it. Dominica is especially suitable for people who do not want to disrupt their current lives. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to relocate your entire family. You don't need to adapt to a completely different culture. For many middle-aged individuals or financially settled families, this is a true passive plan B. Make the investment, hold it, and continue living life as usual. If everything remains stable, Dominica is simply a quiet line in a portfolio. If things change, it becomes a very real option. What matters most is understanding that the investment figures may change over time. Regulations may be adjusted. But the essence of Dominica's program does not. It does not sell a glamorous lifestyle. It does not promise wealth creation. What Dominica sells is speed and simplicity, a short, clear path with minimal obligations designed for people who are not looking for perfection, but for peace of mind in an increasingly unpredictable world. 4. Turkey. Citizenship paired with real life. Turkey is one of the few countries where citizenship is not separated from everyday living. The legal pathway is relatively clear. Invest around $400,000 in real estate and receive direct citizenship in return. There is no long-term residency requirement and no obligation to live continuously in the country. From a procedural standpoint, it is one of the fastest and most accessible programs for international investors. But if you view Turkey only as a citizenship on paper option, you miss the most important part of the story. A Middle Eastern entrepreneur once purchased an apartment in Istanbul, not to rent it out, not for speculation, and not as an immediate exit plan. The decision was made for their children. They wanted them to grow up in a city where Asia and Europe meet every single day, where history, religion, trade, and modern life constantly collide. Istanbul is not quiet. It is dense, loud, and always in motion. But it is precisely that chaos that creates the feeling of being alive rather than simply existing inside a carefully controlled environment. Compared to many European Union countries, the cost of living in Turkey remains significantly lower. Major cities offer strong healthcare systems, modern hospitals, international schools, and a real estate market diverse enough to support different goals and lifestyles. More importantly, this is a place where you can genuinely live if you choose to. It is not a country where people simply acquire a passport and leave it unused. It is a place where a daily life can be built for individuals and for families alike. Of course, Turkey is not a choice for those seeking absolute stability. Political fluctuations are real, and periods of inflation have created economic uncertainty at times. But in return, you receive more than a passport. You gain access to a living, breathing society, a culture with depth, and a life that unfolds around you every day. Turkey does not promise complete calm. What it offers instead is something different. A connection to real life, to real people, and to a place where citizenship is not locked away in a drawer, but woven into how you and your family choose to live. 3. Brazil. A longer path, but a real one. Brazil does not sell fast citizenship. There is no program that exchanges money directly for a passport, and there are no shortcuts for those who want everything completed in a matter of months. The path in Brazil is clear, but gradual: purchase real estate to obtain legal residency, live and work in the country, and after around 4 to 5 years, become eligible to apply for citizenship. This is not an option for the impatient. But precisely for that reason, it appeals to those looking for something more durable than paperwork. A European freelancer once bought a small apartment in Recife, a coastal city in northeastern Brazil. At first, the plan was simple: buy it as an Airbnb rental, hold the asset, and generate some income. But over time, things changed. He stayed longer than expected, not because of returns, but because of the slower rhythm of life, the openness of the people, and the feeling, perhaps for the first time in years, that he was no longer an outsider. In Brazil, life happens on the streets, in cafes, on the beach, and through everyday conversations. Gradually, the apartment stopped being an investment and became an anchor for a new way of living. Brazil is well suited for people with more modest capital but greater patience. The entry threshold for real estate investment is far lower than in direct citizenship programs. More importantly, during the residency period, you have the right to live, the right to work, and the right to earn income locally. You don't need to burn money just to maintain your status. You can support yourself while you adapt and integrate into the society around you. This is a path for those who want to sustain themselves throughout the migration process rather than simply pay and wait. In Brazil, holding a passport is not the initial focus. What matters first is the right to live legally, the right to work, and the right to become part of society. You are not present only on paper. You are present in daily life, in communities, and in the everyday rhythm of the country. Citizenship, if it comes, is the result of long-term involvement to transaction. Brazil does not promise speed. What it offers instead is something different: the sense that you are building your life from within a society rather than standing outside it, looking in. For those who see migration as a lived journey, not just a legal strategy, that is the greatest value Brazil has to offer. 2. Greece, The EU gateway for the patient. Greece is not a place for rushed decisions. The pathway here is built on time rather than speed. Through the Golden Visa program, investors can purchase real estate to obtain legal residency. But moving from residency to citizenship requires more than a signature, typically 7 years or more, of continuous legal residence. The final reward is a European Union passport with the right to live and work anywhere in the EU. It is a significant destination, but not an easy one to reach. An Asian couple once bought a small home on a Greek island. They were not asking how long it would take to get citizenship. They were not counting legal milestones. What mattered to them was where their child would grow up. They wanted a place where life moved more slowly, where children could walk to school, where afternoons felt longer than mornings, and where family time was not constantly squeezed by work and pressure. Citizenship for them was a distant concern. Life was the priority. Greece, therefore, is not suitable for those in a hurry. It is not for people who need fast results or immediate returns, but for families or for individuals who value education, environment, and balance between work and personal life. Greece offers something increasingly rare in the modern world, the feeling that time slows down. Schools, local communities, and daily routines create a space that many people have lost in larger, faster cities. It must be said clearly, Greece does not promise speed. No one can guarantee citizenship exactly in the 7th year. The process can take longer and requires real presence and genuine integration. But that is precisely what makes the difference. This is not an easy path, nor a completely certain one. Yet it is one of the most stable ways to enter Europe, not through a leap, but through steady, deliberate steps. Greece does not sell fast dreams. It offers an invitation instead, if you are willing to be patient, willing to slow down, and willing to build a life day by day. The door to Europe opens in a quiet, natural way. No spectacle, no urgency, just depth and the possibility of lasting belonging. 1. Panama, a transit nation. Panama rarely appears in romantic migration stories. It does not sell the image of a paradise. It does not promote a perfect lifestyle. And it does not try to convince you that this is a place you will instantly fall in love with. The path in Panama is practical purchase real estate with an investment of around $300,000 to obtain legal residency, maintain that residency for a period of time, and then move toward citizenship. The tax system is friendly. The US dollar is the official currency, and the legal framework is designed to be accommodating to foreigners. Everything here operates on the logic of convenience. There is a common saying among expats in Panama: many people do not love Panama. They simply need a place that is easy to live in, easy to do business in, easy to move through, and that does not interfere. Panama fits that role precisely. It does not demand deep cultural integration. It does not force major lifestyle changes. You can arrive, settle work, open bank accounts, buy property, and continue your life with as few obstacles as possible. For many, that alone is a significant advantage. Panama feels accessible to a broad audience because it rarely feels unfamiliar. A large expat community provides built-in networks and support. The use of the US dollar removes currency risk and financial uncertainty. Cultural adjustment is relatively mild. Daily life is manageable, and administrative processes are generally easier than in many neighboring countries. It is a place you can step into without having to relearn how to live from scratch. But it is important to be clear, Panama is not a dream. It is not a place that fills you with excitement every morning. It does not offer romance, nor does it promise deep personal transformation. What Panama provides instead is infrastructure. Infrastructure for stability. Infrastructure for business. Infrastructure for mobility between countries, regions, and life plans. For many people, Panama is not the final destination. It is a transit point, a place to stand firmly while the world shifts around you, a foundation from which to pursue dreams elsewhere. Europe, North America, or beyond. Panama does not require you to love it. It only needs to do one thing. Well, give you a stable foothold, quiet enough for you to decide where to go next. No citizenship by itself can change your life. A passport, no matter how powerful, remains just a tool. It does not decide how you feel when you wake up each morning, who you share dinner with, or where you truly belong. What actually shapes your life is something else entirely: the decision of where you choose to live and why you choose it. The 5 countries we've explored are not promises. They are 5 very different choices reflecting 5 ways people respond to a changing world. Some seek speed. Some seek stability. Some look for space to raise a family. Others simply need an anchor so they are not swept away when everything feels uncertain. There is no single right path for everyone, and no wrong one if it protects the life you want to preserve. You may never need to use a second citizenship, but simply knowing that you have a choice, that another door is already open, can be enough to live more calmly in the present. And perhaps that is the real value of these paths: not to leave, but to stay with control. If you'd like me to analyze one country in depth, leave a comment below. The next video won't be about passports or paperwork. It will be about the life that exists on the other side of those choices.